Some couples grow old together, but this couple says they're growing younger and younger together. George and Franchila Strutter both underwent bariatric surgery at Fresno Heart and Surgical Hospital and share why the only regret they have is not having the surgery done sooner.
You know,
I wouldn't take back that day for anything.
I wish I did this 15 years earlier.
Exactly.
Because we got so much of our life back.
George and Franchila say they do everything together. For their 20th anniversary, they decided to undergo bariatric surgery, but the decision wasn't always an easy choice for George.
We had went to the doctors, and he was like, you do it, I'm good. I'm not doing that.
From fearful to fearless, George says becoming educated on weight loss surgery helped him overcome his concerns.
And so the education of it and actually seeing exactly what they do, why they do it, and the cause and effect behind it, it helped me out a lot.
And I think the staff here at the hospital and Dr. Boone, they were just so information. It was no taboo question. It was not a time we couldn't call and ask a question or about this.
George and Franchila went to Fresno Heart and Surgical Hospital and say meeting with surgeon and physician Dr. Keith Boone reinforced their decision to move forward with surgical plans.
And so at that point we saw Dr. Boone and
who made it even much better.
Right, it was just easy.
Great bedside
manner. And he fell in love with him, so it was like, oh, let's do it. Yeah. And that's how we got to this point. We said, well, this will be our anniversary present to each other. So
an anniversary present that keeps on giving for generations.
That was another thing that was motivating because when we started, we have 5 grandchildren, and so when they started popping out, and you know, we were like, we have to be here. You know, and we want to see our great grands. We want to see them grow up and progress. And we knew we had to do something.
It was a change for us, not just for us, but for our entire family.
For our entire family.
A change for the better. George has lost over 250 pounds and Franchila around 100 pounds, continuing to lose weight and gain their lives back.
You know,
it's caused us to change our mindsets, you know, because a lot of people talk about, you know, it's the easy route. It's not easy. It's not easy at all.
And honestly, it's been a cool journey.
It has been amazing.
I've heard horror stories, but for us,
we haven't had
no medical complications. Number one, and that's great.
None.
But just the journey itself, we didn't go through like the bouts of depression and regrets or what did I do, or you know, we've actually made it fun.
So fun that the couple who are now in their 40s feel like they're back in their teen years.
When I say I feel amazing, when I say I got my life back, let me explain. A lot of people will look at our pictures and say that we're aging in reverse. I chuckle when they say that because it's not just flattery for me. I actually feel like I'm 17 and 18 years old again.
Yeah.
And as what is sometimes said, youth is wasted on the young.
So I used to hear people say all the time, you know, if I had one regret, the only regret that I have is not doing it sooner, or when people urge us to get it done, what's your date? If I could, I'll get back on the table with you and, you know, and do it all over again. I'm listening to them like I have the same sentiments now. That's very amazing to me, you know.
We actually wake up sometimes and we go, you know what? Dr. Boone took our stomach. It's like our stomach is gone. And we're like, I'm glad about it. So,
to make a positive life change and for more information on the bariatric program at Fresno Heart and Surgical Hospital, go to fresnobariatrics.org.
And it's been a beautiful ride.
It's been amazing.
I love my new life.
We are so happy now.
I wish that I did this 10 years ago because I was terrified. You know, you're scared it's surgery, but I was more scared of doing nothing, right? Like the consequences of doing nothing were way scarier than like whatever might happen. I've been active my whole life, was always outdoors, so my weight was never an issue. And then I got into college and had a baby, a desk job. I was still eating like I was active, and I wasn't. We would diet and lose weight and then gain it back, work with doctors, gain it back.
Never really was an issue for me. I was always the big kid. It was just a big guy, essentially. Eventually to where I was 365 pounds and still active and still could move around. Really wasn't physically hindering me, but heavy.
My blood pressure was high. His blood pressure was high. And, you know, we were creeping up to 40. And and it's like, this isn't gonna get better. I started having like these weird pains after I ate and drank. And so we went to the ER to St. Al's, and my gallbladder had just completely failed. They found that it had fused to my liver because my liver was so fatty. Because I was like, how do I fix this? And he's like, you gotta lose like 100 pounds. You need to change everything. So I just started educating myself.
Something that kind of stuck with me is that basically somebody who has, 100 pounds or more to lose, the chances of them losing that weight and maintaining it and keeping it off was like 2% without surgical intervention. Well, that's basically everything I've seen for the last 10 years that we've tried to. So from that point on, I was just like, this something's got to change, and this is the way it needs to go.
You definitely have to be at the right mindset. It has to be a right place and time in life to say, yeah, I'm committed to this. I'm mentally ready. Our program's set up to be a minimum of 6 months long. And along the way, we have support systems in place for them to see the dietitians. If people need behavioral eating therapy that's available, everybody goes through a site clearance to make sure they're in a good state of mind, good place in their life.
They were personable. They were very straightforward, really good at educating us on all the things. Then they just talk to you, like, what are your goals? What are the problems you're having? They go over health issues. And at any time, you decide you don't need it because you've been successful. It was never like, this is the only way, or this is the surgery you need to have. It was all about educating us to live better. So it really was a full life overhaul that really the surgery was like this much of it.
And along the way, they supported each other and held each other accountable. They worked together on their menus, changing their diet, changing the life, which is imperative, and that's how they ultimately ended up succeeding. Both procedures are done robotically, first of all. So it's a laparoscopic approach, minimally invasive, small little incision ports inside the belly. Throughout the course, we discussed of what their risk and benefits are for each surgery, and they weighed those. Matthew took an approach of going for the gastric sleeve. His wife, Jenny, took the approach of going with the gastric bypass. They all kind of chose which one was right for them.
I'm not at 10 months yet, but I'm down 113 pounds. And you're at 9 months-ish.
Yeah, I'm down 125 pounds.
He's never gone to the gym, and now we can work out together. I always wanted to go, and he would never go. And he's running on the treadmill, which is like...
Running on a treadmill, my biggest accomplishment is being able to tie my shoes without holding my breath.
They have reverse disease processes that are life-changing for them. Both of them have, and that's what it's all about. Everything that we all want to do, they're able to do that even more so. And every pound they lose, they realize that I'm doing more and more.
We had a great marriage before. Going through something like this together and watching him get his confidence back and see himself the way I always saw him, and me being able to be a better partner because I feel good about myself and have energy has just made it better.
So my name is Kevin Sibilia, and I am 28 years old.
My name is Judith Langa, and I am 28 years old. I was not heavy as a child, but when I turned about 11 years old, I started gaining weight, and it's out of control. It got in the way of me living my life and doing a job. I've tried any popular weight loss diet that you can think of, lost maybe 10, 15 pounds, and gained it right back. I got very discouraged and kind of gave up and lost track of my weight, and it got out of control. I actually reached 310 pounds at one point. And when I saw that number, it was a wake-up call for me. I needed to do something drastic.
I was always a big kid growing up from pre through high school to a couple years ago. Even, I was always obese. Every time I lost, I put it back on tenfold. I reached 430 pounds.
When I went to the primary doctor, when I wasn't feeling well, and I finally decided to go. It took a lot of convincing from my family, but I went. And I remember sitting in the waiting room, and I had terrible anxiety. I was shaking. I felt like I was going to cry. It was terrible. And, especially being put on the scale and having to tell them how I feel and knowing why I feel that way, it was just like a shaming feeling. I know that I was in pain. I had sleep apnea. So the doctor found out my highest weight. My blood work was terrible. I was pre-diabetic, and I was tired all the time, and I just didn't feel healthy. I feel like a 26-year-old.
I also had high blood pressure as well, and I blamed white coat syndrome for years, but realistically that really wasn't the case. You know, because you get that fat shaming when you go to the doctors, and it's a confidence killer. You know, I would wake up at 25 years old and my ankles, my knees would be absolutely killing me. And believe it or not, even being a bigger guy, I was very athletic. I loved to do pickup games, go out and play golf, you name it, I love to do it. And just being 26 and not really having the energy or regretting waking up the next morning like, oh my gosh, I'm in so much pain, really changed my life and turned it around.
So I'm an operating room nurse, so I've worked with Dr. Judd in surgery. I've seen how he talks to his bariatric patients especially, and I knew that I would feel confident going to see him in the office.
So we decided to attend a weight loss seminar, basically get more information for us, work alongside Dr. Judd like she does, so it was more or less I can be more informed.
Yeah, so when we see the patients, we listen to their story, we try to understand it, and then we, as a team, help these patients navigate through this journey to get them from the beginning to the end, which is seeing us in the office and getting to a surgical procedure. It motivates me to empower patients to take back their life, to healthy, to exercise, to give them a tool which will help them lose weight and then maintain that weight loss.
When I saw Dr. Judd, he came into the room, he saw my weight, he said, okay, this is where we're at, this is your BMI, this is where we're gonna be at in a year or so. And I said, okay, sign me up, where do I go? You know, I guess you can say I didn't feel like that anxiety that I would have when I would leave a regular doctor's office, because he didn't talk almost down to me. He talked to me like I was a person.
So after our consultation with Dr. Judd, he actually walked us to the office of Vicky, who is the bariatric coordinator, and we sat down with her. She explained everything to us, including insurance and all the clearances we'd have to get. She made all of our appointments right then and there, and she tried very hard to schedule us together for every step of the way. She was wonderful, and she made us feel like VIPs. All of our appointments and clearances were at Crystal Run Healthcare, which was very convenient because we were able to do everything. Jamie gave us advice, like she said, have a shake for breakfast and make sure your proteins and non-starchy vegetables. When we saw Dr. Judd post-op and we told him, like, I'm hungry, he said, you're not hungry, you just want it, but just keep sticking, gonna get better. He was very encouraging. He made us feel better for sure. Planning out your meals is life-changing because you know ahead of time that you're gonna be successful, that you're gonna make the right decisions.
If we just make creative things and we
do everything as a team, every single thing.
It's truly.
Now a year later, I don't even know where my CPAP machine is. I haven't used it. I sleep great. I don't have sleep apnea anymore.
So with having lost 140 pounds, I feel like I'm a well-oiled machine again. Up in the morning with absolutely no pain. We worked out at home. Yep, we'd go to the gym, hiking. So
when I first started this journey with the bariatric program, one of the things that I really enjoyed doing, especially when out in nature and hiked, and it has changed my life. I love hiking. I love being out there, and now since getting my dog Lucy, going out there with her is the best form of exercise I could ever imagine. Hiking is definitely my new eating for sure.
I rediscovered golf.
So recently we were going out and rushing out of the house, and we get into the car, and Kevin turns to me and says, you just put on an outfit and walked out the door and you didn't change. And I looked at him and I said, I think that was the first time I ever did that, and I got teary-eyed and I started crying. It was very emotional for me.
Posted Judith, I had a surprise photographer there to basically capture our moments. And now with our journey that we were on, we actually had to retake our photos because we do not look like we were before. Yes, this was tough, but you know what? This was so rewarding at the end of the day, and you just mentally, physically, and emotionally feel so much better. Yes. Going through it together, I think we were close before, but I think this just brought us even closer.
I feel like our life has truly begun, and now it's fun stuff, getting married, having kids, and just living our best life, our healthy life forever together.
Yep. Just couldn't have said it better myself.
The surgical weight loss program at Crystal Run Healthcare empowers lifelong weight loss. Crystal Run Healthcare,